Welcome to Discovery Watch with John Kaiser.
I'm your host, Jim Goddard. Welcome back to the show, John.
Jim, pleasure to be back.
John, what are you hearing from the Golden Triangle?
Well, Jim, I went through my list of Golden Triangle juniors this week, and there is not much joy in terms of market action. The two highest profile juniors are SK Mining, which owns 100% of the polymetallic gold-silver enriched SIB VMS project, and Tudor Gold, which owns 60% of the Treaty Creek copper-gold porphyry project. Both are in the similar general area of the Golden Triangle, and both have about 200 million shares fully diluted, and they've managed to keep their stock price above $2, but they have not delivered any upside. When you look at all the rest of the juniors with exposure to the Golden Triangle, their shares are all drifting down at lower prices than at the start of the year. And we are now close to the very end of the exploration season. By mid-October, everybody has to get out of there, especially the higher elevations, such as where SK Mining is located, because winter comes and it shuts down, visibility becomes terrible, and it's end of the season. Now, in the case of SK Mining, they reported that within 2 weeks of starting in July, that their focus on the TV and Jeff targets had intersected plentiful of enriched, or at least visibly enriched, VMS mineralization, and but it's now 10 weeks later. Now, the assay turnaround time is supposed to be 8 to 10 weeks, so it's a bit troubling that we have not heard anything from SK Mining about TV Jeffa. They did provide some updates along the way where they said a lot was intersected, but they've also come to the conclusion that the time of the mineralization is older than SK Creek itself. So that hypothetical cartoon Quentin Henney offered us earlier this summer, where the TV and Jeff zones are sort of earlier stages of a feeder system, that cartoon probably is not going to be borne out by reality. The hope was that they would probe up stratigraphy and find the SK Creek event horizon and find, massive sulfide mineralization at that level. But with regard to TV and Jeff, they had numerous holes in that area. We have not reported any assays. By middle of October, we should see some assays, and hopefully we see some picture coming together as to what's going on in that particular area. But they did complete a SkyTem survey on all of the property this summer, and this has led to a couple of very interesting target areas. Last year they did this BLEG survey, which is a stream sediment survey type of survey, and they identified two very intense gold anomalies within that property. One is in the northern part of the eastern anticline, where there has never been any work done, and they did some field investigation and reported in mid-September that there's a 2.5 kilometer conductor in this area. Field inspections confirmed that there is VMS style mineralization associated with it. They call this the New York target, and they also earlier this year suspected that in this area that could be the time horizon of the SK Creek 1 deposit that's farther north on Skeena's property. In the southern part, the C10 area, where they do have drill permits, this is an area which is more metamorphosed than the northern part of the property. They believe this is due to some later intrusion that cooked up that area, but it's still prospective for having the earlier VMS events take place. And their SkyTem revealed additional targets in the vicinity of Spearhead and C10, and this area also had a very significant BLEG anomaly, and they have a drill permit for that area, and there's a new target, Vermilion, which they said it's within the permit area, so hopefully they will get some holes into that. But the last update was mid-September, where they indicated they intend to test this target. They did not say anything about drilling the New York target at the northern end, possibly because they don't have a permit for that area yet. But as we head into the end of the Golden Triangle season, we're dealing with this predicament that in junior discovery exploration, you want a discovery to happen, a spectacular hole to be released, and the company immediately focus its attention on the area of that discovery hole. And that's what happened in 1989 when hole 109 discovered the 21B zone on the SK Creek property that Skeena now owns. And that became the focus of a brand new discovery, and it galvanized the market. Everybody else in the area took off. Calpine and Stikine took off. But we're not seeing any of that happen anywhere. Other companies haven't really reported much. P2 Gold reported results from the BAM project, and they're the holes related to the Monarch zone, which had never been drilled until this year. This showed some encouraging evidence of a high sulfidation epithermal system. The holes into the copper zone to the south, it's believed to be some sort of breccia pipe, so it doesn't really have the tonnage implications. They believe deeper down is a Galore Creek type porphyry system, and this is the peripheries of it. They do intend to go back next year, but it's too late for them to do anything. So they've got their 4 holes into the Monarch Gold Zone, and they'll be putting together a program to return next year. And many of the other companies haven't really reported that much to signal that, hey, here's a new focal center, here's where we should focus. In the case of SK Mining, I've been over, I stated earlier on Discovery Watch that this is going to be the star of the Golden Triangle in 2021. If it is, it's going to be in the last couple of months of this year. If the 30,000 meters of drilling, which they appear to be on track to achieve by the time they shut down in October, they were 19,000 meters in mid-September. The goal here is really to show that SK Creek wasn't just this one freak VMS event at the northern end of a 30-kilometer long package of a former basin that has been folded and tilted on its side. There are multiple such VMS centers, and the information they furnished so far with their field work and their follow-up testing is that, yes, these are here, and what we hope to see is the stage set for 2022, that here are multiple centers, perhaps not lacking a clear-cut hole 109, but multiple areas for which to refinance and then focus drilling in the 2022 season next summer.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. John, Nevada Exploration announced an unusual drilling contract this week. What's that all about?
Well, as Discovery Watch listeners know, Nevada Exploration Inc. has had a drill stranded at a depth of 447 meters at the South Grass Valley project since the end of June, when the drillers bolted for more lucrative pastures elsewhere. And these holes that they're drilling, 1,400 to 1,500 meters up, Nevada Exploration Inc. and New Legacy Gold Corp., they are both seeking very deep, blind targets covered either by thick gravel, as the case is in South Grass Valley, or a combination of barren younger volcanics and upper plate rocks that aren't a particularly good host in the case of the Red Hill Rift Anticline project of New Legacy Gold. And these holes typically cost $500,000 to $1 million, and they can take a couple of months to complete. And historically, the way it works is that the drilling company gets paid whether or not the hole is completed, and the company ends up paying for even all the things that go wrong along the way. So it's been this one-sided affair. When you think that in a typical blind target in Nevada where you are looking for multi-billion-dollar prizes such as Cortez Hills, pipeline, post-Meikle type deposits, you can't just drill one hole and expect to get lucky. You have to drill multiple holes to reveal the geological context and whatever alteration vectoring is possible so that you can home in. So anytime you tackle one of these projects, you need $3 to $6 million just to put yourself in the game for finding something. And with the driller shortage of, or at least a shortage of competent drillers in Nevada, the poor NGE has been kind of stuck twiddling its thumb after reporting that the first hole of the season, which took 6 months to finally report results on, and didn't deliver that discovery hole that makes everything a no-brainer afterwards, they've been struggling to find somebody. And this group that they did the deal with, it's called Drill NV. It's owned by Luke Horschel, and who previously operated another company called Drillrite. Now, this guy is an expert in core drilling, very difficult holes. Several decades ago, he started as a teenager working as a driller. He ended up becoming very experienced, was working for a company called Tonatech, and interestingly, there's a Paul Horschel there who's still operations manager. I suspect it is Luke's brother. Luke himself became a trainer of other drillers, and at some point he said, why am I just a trainer working for this company? So he started Drillrite, which has now become Drill NV. And he is so confident in his methodology and the team of drillers that he has attracted and trained that he is willing to take on a contract where he doesn't charge the company unless he completes the hole to target depth, or the company pulls the plug on the hole because, we're down 1,000 meters and we're in tombstone rock. Clearly our target is not evolving as we expected, so we'll stop wasting money on that. And in this deal that the NGE announced, they said, okay, we'll put up $1.4 million right now so that you can go buy some specialized equipment to do this, and then we will do this arrangement where you start drilling, and they expect this drilling to be underway by early November. When you complete a hole, you invoice us for the cost, and they're charging $185 a meter, and not just for the fast upper part, but even for the much slower, deeper part. This apparently is not the cheapest price that you can pay in Nevada, but it is designed to reflect the competence of the drilling company. And when this bill is submitted, NGE will pay 50% of it in cash. 25% will be a drawdown from that $1.4 million advance. And here's the other innovative thing. They're going to pay, it's going to be NGE's choice to pay the last 25% in stock at a 20% discount to the 30-day volume-weighted average price. And this paper will have a 4-month hold, so it can't just be blown into the market. And this creates an incentive structure because the company, the drilling company, Drill NV, will be holding this paper until after the assays come through. Like a hole may take 2 months to drill, a month to properly log, and another 2 months to get assays on. So the 3 months in, they still don't have free trading stock. They can't just turn it into cash by blowing it into the market. So all of a sudden, their interest is aligned with the interest of the Nevada Exploration Inc. shareholders. They want these holes to be completed. They want this program to go on. They don't want to take forever. And so hopefully when this deal gets going, when the drilling resumes, we will start seeing holes executed a lot more quickly and efficiently than we saw earlier this year. New Legacy had its own share of problems, and this idea that the drilling company takes on the risk. Yes, there is a substantial margin in what they charge the company and what it costs them to drill the hole. This idea that they will take on the risk of losing a hole, and sometimes it isn't their fault. Sometimes ground conditions are just so terrible that you lose the hole, and you lose the bit, everything down hole, and it's a complete write-off. But if we see more of this coming, this game, which is normally one that only the majors can pursue, drilling these deep targets in Nevada, this may signal a turnaround in what the juniors can accomplish in Nevada. And also, if you Google Luke Horschel and his brother Paul, you'll also find out that they are participants in Ultra 4 off-road car racing in these crazy desert mountainous terrains. So this is an interesting family, and Luke Horschel has emerged as a pioneer in developing a new style of, as a drilling service company, working with resource exploration juniors like Nevada Exploration Inc., which are trying to make major multi-billion-dollar discoveries with deep targets that require expensive holes.
John, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
We've been speaking with John Kaiser, his website, kaiserresearch.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Discovery Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Discovery Watch is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.